possession now.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Leah Warner will go in goal defence. Normally, obviously, at that wing defence role. With Condren out, obviously they've had to switch it up a little bit, and Hock going in at wing defence. So Hock's a different player altogether than obviously Warno. Hock's got those long limbs, and against a shorter player in Schuster's got to really turn and get that ball around quite quickly to get over those arms of Hock.
Yeah, Jets able to win that ball back there. Steph Ryan on a really strong challenge with Katie Walker around the side edge of the circle, but a great take there by Leah Middleton, which is unfortunately not being able to be kept by the Tigers.
Leah's looking nice and thin and quite athletic at the moment. She's looking obviously working hard over the off-season and during this season to get that goal defence position, because obviously grew up playing with her and she was mostly that goalkeeper role, so she's looking really, really fit.
Yeah, no, you definitely had a great season on court for the Queensland Fusion earlier in the year, and was also a Queensland Firebirds training partner. So,
that's a soft penalty against O'Brien. I think she just ran into the opposing player and got offensive contact, and I just heard you.
I know, because it's been lots of backwards and forwards, hasn't it? So
my neck's a bit sore already.
Yeah.
So both teams obviously looking to settle into this game. It's still very early days, only a couple of minutes into it.
What do you think? So we think O'Brien and Walker will be a key matchup. What are some of the other key matchups you think?
Look, all over the court there's really a couple, obviously Gomez on Benjamin's going to be a really interesting matchup. Both quite tall and limmy. Gomez has obviously come back from, I believe she's the only player to return from a full hip replacement in netball. So obviously a commendable effort for that to even get back to this league and this level.
Yes, definitely. She's been on the State League court now for a couple of years, and was on the A&L court last year. So it's great to see her out there. Like you said,
bionic
hip, bionic woman.
So very scrappy game at the moment. Both attacking ends just can't convert into their shooters and having a crack at that shot, unfortunately. So a bit of a contact call on Gomez there, and Benjamin unable to get that ball through the hoop.
So Tigers back in possession.
So obviously the Tigers have black armbands for Tracy Bruce's father, who unfortunately passed away during the week. So condolences to her extended family. My parents went out to the funeral yesterday and said it was quite a moving ceremony. So condolences to Trace and her family.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great to see Trace here this afternoon. Coaching her team. I'm sure she wouldn't be anywhere else, but you would understand if she was. So that was a great play there by the great play there by the Jets.
Yeah, and really good movement by Baker there as well. So she really took the front space and took both defenders with her, and then obviously behind with Lucy freeing up near the post there, and great pass and execution by Steph O'Brien.
Still think both teams haven't quite got their flow from what we would expect from them, given who's on the court. But like it's still early days, although the scores are quite low given how much time we've had in play already. Yeah,
and when we've commentated before, Simi, we've commentated on that both teams all teams are slow to start. So it's not just obviously this round and these two teams. It's been right across the board, unfortunately. As a coach, what would you try at training to get more of a start, a strong start from your team, Sim?
Yeah, look, I think there could be lots of reasons. The time of day, warm up. all those sorts of things can contribute. I think really focusing individually on the players and making sure that they're taking responsibility before they get to the game to ensure that they're, in the best kind of physical and mental state, so that when they enter the stadium, they're ready to go.
Yeah. And 3:40 is a difficult time to play this level of netball at. Normally we're obviously used to like a 6:30 or 8:30, sometimes 8:30 start games in previous years. So 3:40 is generally takes you back to junior level, back in the sun and on the asphalt, and very different time to obviously in the night time.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
your prep is totally different as well.
Yeah, especially if athletes have had to work, today. A lot of them are either part-time because they're at uni or, have other, or school. We've got, school students.
Still youngins.
Yeah, on that was better play there by the Jets. So, yeah, I think all those things are important, but as, elite athletes, they will be well aware of what they need to do, and it'll be about making sure that they're doing that consistently for every game.
Yeah. Good effort there by Schuster. And great drive there by Baker. And great passing by Steph. Just overcooks that shot there. Puts her upper hand and acknowledges that she needs to flick a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Great pressure over the shot there by Middleton.
Siobhan Sherlock's doing a great job on Amy Somerville at the moment. I haven't really noticed Amy in there. With that shot, I now do. But yeah, Sherlock's doing a great job on obviously the more experience in Amy.
Yeah, agree. I think most would, Bridie's a big loss to them, but I think at the moment Sherlock's doing more, than her job in looking after Somerville.
Unfortunate there, just rolls off 2 sets of hands and out on the baseline.
Yeah, I think Gomez and Middleton are doing a good job to confuse the space there. We've seen a few balls for the Jets go over the baseline early on in the game, and just that confusion and disruption is allowing them to win back possession through error, really, from the Jets, not so much a clean intercept by the Tigers as such.
Yeah, and just before that passage of play, Katie Walker took a Katie Walker-like drive, pass and cut, and was unfortunately not given the ball back. So I really think if your player takes that nice hard drive and cut, that you really need to reward your players and give the ball back. And great keep in there by Lexi Baker there. Yeah. But yeah, just Amy missed her in the front cut there. So they had to unfortunately go back to the baseline and back to the transverse, sorry.
Yeah, I think that lack of connection definitely we can see. Whereas in some ways it feels like the Jets have been able to connect a little bit easier when they're able to get those quick passages.
Yep.
However, the score is slightly in the Tigers' favour at the moment. As I say, that the Jets do a good job at disrupting play. Always the case.
Great shot there by Amy.
Yeah, such a high and loopy shot she has.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
Yeah. Oh, and great drive there by Baker.
Yeah.
Really confused the space with Leah. Obviously, Leah's quite a one-on-one player, and when she can't feel that player, she gets a little bit confused with the space, and Baker was able to drive that ball into the circle. Fortunate there. 2 hands, maybe she could have got that ball.
Yeah, and if Woolno had called out to her and let her know that it was either going over the baseline or she had it covered.
And Jets are very comfortable in this attacking line. Like we've been saying before, they're a little bit more, they've played a few more games than obviously the Tigers and together, and that connection's really showing so far in this game, with just over 4.5 to go. We're Tigers up by 2.
So the Tigers in possession again. A great give and go there by Lexi Baker, and Warno call for the contact on a strong but illegal challenge.
Lexi's really come into her own so far. Here's a drive. Takes a nice hard drive.
And a great ball there by Somerville.
Yeah, just let it go.
Confident to let it go to a teammate driving hard into the circle. I think as we look, there's the Tigers have jumped out to a 3-goal lead, but really the goal percentage is the difference at the moment. Domi, if we look, the Jets are shooting at 67% compared to the Tigers 79. Still quite low for both teams, but certainly I think that is the difference at the moment.
And it's really in that goal attack position where we see Lexi Baker 5 from 6. Unfortunately, Rosie Baker is 1 from 4, so that shooting percentage is really taking a hit there.
Another great touch there by the Tigers to win back possession. Katie Walker able to clean the kind of crumbs up and pick the ball up. So as we know in the Sapphire series this year, bonus points are up for grabs for each quarter that's won by a team, as well as obviously points for winning the game. So at the moment the Tigers are in the driver's seat to take these first bonus points that are on offer. However, with 3 minutes to go, it's not impossible for the Jets to claw them back, but
just a bit of a non-confident shot there by Rosie Baker. Unfortunately, hits the front of the ring, and just as we look down the court, there's just been a substitution. Lucy Benjamin's come off the court, change bibs, and going back on court, and Charlie Bell's into the game, a goal shooter.
Yeah, so we saw this combination earlier on in the rounds that we commentated on, and I think it's a combination that's grown to have 2 tall timbers in there. It'll change up the Jets' attacking style, but I don't think it's a bad one by Tracy Jeans-Fraser. I think she's identified that Rosie wasn't quite finding the mark in that first little bit.
Yeah, and really that's the right decision by Trace there. When your player's not... Oh, that was a great contest there.
Great contest there by Sherlaw.
Did you get a bit nervous there?
I did. I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Oh, we just seen her give a wipe. But yeah, great contest there by Sherlaw.
And both players going for the ball, right? So it was
legal.
Nothing in it in terms of anything illegal.
And obviously we see 2 talls in the most of the, some of the Suncorp teams as well. So obviously the Firebirds with Gretel and Romelda. They're one of the tallest pairing of Suncorp.
Yes. Oh, great work there by Steph O'Brien to contested, still able to take the ball and deliver it to Charlie Bell, almost under the post.
So a shot there by Charlie Bell, and
so I knew the commentator's curse would come back to get me when I called the Tigers maybe to take the bonus points. The Jets have decided to prove me wrong, but that change, I think, to that front line in the Jets has definitely made a difference.
Oh, bit of a miscommunication once again there, unfortunate. Jets looking to capitalise on that turnover. Oh. Well done, Claire Haig.
Yeah.
Gets the spoils there. And once again, cleans up her own good work. I think Katie Walker just needs to get down the court and let her wing defence, goal defence do most of the work. She's kind of hanging around, trying to help the best that she can, but she's just getting in a few of the players' ways, unfortunate.
Yeah, I think both Middleton and Haig are more than capable to ball carry the ball. Oh, it's an opportunity here for the Jets to draw and take and draw
20 seconds. Oh. Here we go.
With 2 talls, it's not impossible.
No.
Ooh, contact call there, Gomez.
Yeah. That's a harsh call, unfortunate.
Unfortunate for the Tigers, not for the... not for the Jets.
Sorry, And here we go with 2 seconds to go. Steph O'Brien's just smart and holding the ball.
Wow.
So draw quarter.
So each team will take a point Probably reflective, really. The Tigers definitely started off strong, but that change by the Jets late in that first quarter allowed them to claw back and equalise that quarter.
Yeah, we're just going to look at some of the stats of that quarter. So, Simi, we're looking at obviously pretty much an even stats, really. Centre pass conversion, Jets 69%, as well as obviously 69% of the Tigers for centre pass conversion. We'll look down circle entry conversions, really where the Tigers kind of lose points compared to the Jets. 57% to the Jets, 76%.
So that circle entry conversion, Dommy, what's that about?
Oh, here we go. Testing out my netball smarts, been away from the game for a little bit. So centre entry conversion is when you make the ball, or well, pretty much get the ball into the circle, and then that's converted to a goal. So it means when you get the ball in and you get the shot away, that's obviously how the percentage equates.
Yes.
And if you get the pass in, has to go out and back in, or you lose the ball over the sideline or anything like that, there obviously is a deduction there. Is that
very good?
Is that
very
how,
good.
how
yes.
you explain it? Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So the Tigers are only really converting 50% of the ball that they get into the circle, and that could be through error or a missed shot.
Yeah.
So I think, definitely when we see that they've got the ball into the circle 23 times and only converted 13, I think that's a telling sign compared to the Jets, who've got the ball in 17 times and been able to score 13 of those times.
Do you think that's for the shooters, the Tigers shooters, they're not being confident to go to the post, or do you think it's the centre pass, centre players really unable to find the player, or what do you think, Simi?
Yeah, look, I think if the shooters are having to pass out again, then I think, obviously you need to look at where they're receiving that first ball, but we did comment earlier on in that quarter that the Tigers' connection probably didn't look as strong as what we are used to seeing and what we would expect, and the Jets were stronger even though the Tigers were up. So it just, to me, means that the Tigers are having to work double time for the ball that they have.
Yeah.
And I think if they can start converting, because both of their shooters are shooting quite well, that if they're willing to turn and go to the post, then they're usually more likely to put it through. So we'll see what this second quarter brings as the teams come back onto court. There doesn't appear to be any changes.
No, it doesn't. And we've seen time and time again that Amy Somerville is confident to go to the post for those long shots. So obviously if she gets in range, or for having a shot just like Lucy did there.
Yeah, it was a great shot from Lucy, at range. Usually, was renowned for kind of shooting quite close to the post, but it's been great to see her range extended over this season. Great cut there by Schuster to the post.
Yeah, and great double play there by Amy as well. There we have it. A little bit more of a range shot for Amy so far in this game. And I think Lucy will be loving that she's in the goal attack position. She's a bit of a character on the court as well as off the court. So to have that goal attack bib, unlucky there. Bit of a footwork call. She'd be loving having the freedom of the goal attack role.
Yeah, and I think she's done a really good job at mastering that role from where we saw them earlier in the season to what her and Charlie are putting out now. Definitely, makes it easier to get them the ball.
Yeah.
When she's playing her role, as a goal attack and not playing a second shooter. Great shot again by Amy Somerville.
And she's really got to obviously pick up that goal attack role as well, because Lucy is obviously more the dominant shooter in this team, but with obviously Rosie Baker being the goal attack, some games she will be a bit cold or a bit missing, so they'll have to look for another goal attack. We know obviously Steph O'Brien can swing into that goal attack role as well, if needed.
Definitely.
Schuster's really come into her own this quarter. I'm really liking the drives and cuts and passes that she's delivering at the moment. And great shot there by Baker.
Yeah, I think she has definitely found her place in the Tigers line in that wing attack position, which is great to see.
Oh, well done, Gomez. Got around the body and got a fingertip to that ball. Gomez and Middleton play quite a dynamic and really confident role in those goal defence, goalkeeper positions. They're quite a good combination. They chat to each other, they tell each other where to go and if they're doing something wrong or if they can improve something. So really excited to see them two back together.
Yeah, I think they would be equally excited to be on the court together. Like you said, they actually enjoy playing together, which is great to see. The Tigers are fortunate, though, to have great backup on the bench in two youngsters, Madison Cooley and Lily Gribble. So they're blessed in some ways for defenders,
yes,
which is great.
So Jets just looking to go down the court. Oh, great contest there by both players.
Yeah, I like that. Both teams are willing to come and hunt for the intercept. Timing at times is a little bit out, but at least they're having a crack and having a go.
Yep.
So you see Benjamin putting the ball through the hoop there to equalise the scores again. What do you think? What do you think needs to happen, Domi? What's gonna change the game here? What?
I think the ball just needs to go a little bit quicker by both teams. The mid-court for me is where it's going to be the game's going to be won or lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think both teams' mid-courts really need to step up. Obviously, I've chatted about Schuster, and I really think she's taken the game into her hands. So she needs to be backed by obviously Katie Walker and her captain and centre. And then on the other hand, Brooke Hams and Steph O'Brien obviously play a quite a confident position in wing attack and centre as well. So they really need to step up and really just be a little bit more dynamic and be a little bit more quicker with the ball play, I think. How about yourself, Sim? What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think both ends, like you said and kind of indicated, match up really well. I'd like to see maybe the Jets, I think if the Jets shooters can pull this ball in a little bit stronger and expect the fact that Middleton and Gomez are going to want to disrupt. And I think that could be a way that they could at least maintain possession.
Yeah.
I agree. Down here in the Tigers attack end, we just don't have that second option all of the time as they win possession back.
Would you bring Rosie Becker back on to goal attack?
I don't think so, to be honest.
So?
No, I think at the moment the Lucy and Charlie are doing enough. I think I agree that if the ball can if they're serviced a little bit more, I think they'll reward their team a little bit more.
Yeah. Obviously, my thoughts were Leah Middleton obviously loves a tall, possibly slower goal attack. Yep. So obviously Rosie is a little bit shorter and nothing against Lucy, but maybe a little bit quicker. Oh, well done,
Great.
Lexi Baker there.
Rebound and shot there.
Yeah, fade away.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking maybe Rosie coming in onto the court maybe as a bit of a third mid-court, not necessarily being taken out of the position of shooting, but really servicing her tools as well.
Yeah.
Might change up the game, but once again, I'm not the coach.
No, well, I'm not the coach of these teams either, so we'll see what these coaches, the two Tracys, decide to do as the game progresses.
Yep. Tigers take a 2-point lead into this second quarter of round 8 of the Sapphire Series down at the State Netball Centre. If you're not doing anything on Saturday afternoon, we obviously have 2 more games later on and obviously 2 more quarters as well to this game. So get down here and see some great netball.
Great work there by the Jets. They set that play up really nicely and just were patient with the ball and waited till it opened up. Yeah, so we see Katie Walker, who is the namesake of the HART Sapphire Series MVP of the year, the Katie Walker Sapphire. Great honour, obviously, for Katie, but a great award up for grabs by all of these players, not just the Jets and Tigers players, but all of the players involved in the HART Sapphire Series in 2019, sponsored by Legassic Jewelers, which is a fantastic supporter of netball and a fantastic prize up for grabs, really.
Yeah. I was just saying, thinking Katie Walker's such a humble person. And when obviously it was announced that her name would be obviously the name of the MVP award, I know she was very humbled by it and a little bit embarrassed, I think. She probably thinks that they just think she's old and she's been around for many years, which she has, but obviously.
And she is old. I can say that because she's the same age as me. But I'm not running around. But I'm not running around on the court like she is. So she's pretty amazing.
Yes.
She's still mixing it with the best that our state has to offer from a netball perspective. Mum of 4. Yeah, a great ambassador for our sport.
Riding beside her made me feel like I was 102. And I'm probably, I'm going to say it, I'm a little bit half her age.
She might come
children.
after you.
Yeah. Don't tell her I said that. We used to have great battles on court. And I do miss that competitiveness of her, and obviously, but she's still out there, and we're sitting up here on our comfy chairs and talking smack instead of running around. So we've got the easier job, I think. That's great movement there by Tigers.
Yeah, the Jets have been able to pull it back to 1. It's been a seesawing match, which is what we expected. Both teams, great experience sitting at 2 and 4 on the ladder. Obviously wanting the bragging rights from this game.
Yeah, and with all the, I thought that might have come off Hams last.
Hams.
Yeah, say that 3 times.
Yes. Gomez is willing to come out and have a crack at the ball. Does a push up there?
Yeah, do a bridge.
A
few extras.
Which is nice to see. So just puts doubt in the centre court's mind, even if they aren't successful in...
might have been a step.
Okay. Well, you're not white today, Dominique.
No, I'm in grey and black. So. I did bring my whistle, though. It's in my back pocket, so just in case. Umpires, I'm always keen to learn, and if you want me, I'm happy to stick my hand up.
There's a emerging umpires clinic tomorrow. You could always attend.
I think I'm sick tomorrow, unfortunately. Unfortunate there to Leah. Gives her hands a bit of a slap.
The Jets still happy to go long, even though the defenders are reading that and coming out. Whether they, because they're not being intercepted, they're still continuing to back themselves, which is great. But you kind of feel that the Tigers defenders are going to take one of those intercepts soon if they keep.
Or take someone's towel out.
Oh, great contest there by O'Brien. I thought unlucky, but Tigers still in possession. Yeah, it's really struggling around this the connection from their centre court into the shooters. Wuno throws her hands up there and as if to say, what? Not me.
Great pass, shooter pass there by Baker to Somerville. With 3.5 to go, Jets have just snuck out to a 2-point lead, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunate to them.
Who are you going for today?
I don't know. I'm confused.
Your Cougars are playing later, so you don't have to worry about that.
No, I'm not biased. I enjoy watching every team. I have connections everywhere, Sim.
So with 3 minutes to go, it's like the Tigers still, opportunity to win or draw the quarter.
Great shot there.
And with shots like that by Amy Somerville, and they put themselves in a great position to do that. The Jets, on the other hand, 3 goals up, just really needing to maintain possession and shoot every time they get the ball.
Everyone's a bit confused as to who's out of play there.
Yeah, the Tigers defenders starting to draw a lot of the whistles, so probably need to adjust to keep themselves in play. It's kind of easy enough to get the ball into Benjamin and Bell just because of their height, without bringing the umpire into play and taking themselves out of play.
Yeah, it's just on the day that was great movement by the Tigers. Unfortunate to them that Schuster unable to connect with Baker in the circle.
Kind of the story of their day, almost.
Oh.
It's just the ball's just not bouncing
the
Tigers' way in this bit, but before we would have said the same for the Jets. So again, Middleton caught out of play. It just releases the pressure valve when the shooters are able to get an easy shot, although they're successful in the rebound there.
Now it's Tigers' turn to go into attack. Long court. Great drive there by Somerville, comes out while Baker stays in the circle.
I think it's good when Somerville comes out, but she really needs to make sure that Baker's driving back in. Because a few times in this first half, the Tigers have had no one at home, which is not ideal.
It's almost like a pulley system. Once one shooter's out, the other person has to get back in and vice versa.
Yeah, and Amy Somerville's been drawn quite high, so it's a long way then for her to, long way home if she, when she needs to try and get herself back. It's better. Yeah, the ball's just that connection there.
A little bit too slow on the release and the take turn by all players. I really think if you get the ball, you take turn really hard and quickly, and you obviously have more of an option looking up to your other players. Short shot there by Baker, but
strong rebound.
Able to get her own rebounds, and once again, and not a confident shot. Obviously, Tigers have a third shooter in Grant on the bench, and she may be injected into this game for a little bit more confidence.
So with...
well done, Middleton. Comes around the body.
I was almost going to say with 20 seconds to go that you would think the Jets have won this quarter. But
don't say it.
No.
They have to convert this one. And Amy looks for a long shot and nails it.
Nails it. Great shot there by Somerville. Tigers centre pass, so they need to convert this to draw.
Yeah.
Don't know why Walker didn't take that quicker, because now...
Oh, what's the umpire's ruling? Is that going to be a held ball? She may have a decision going into the next quarter. Well, let's look out for that. So obviously halftime, Ipswich Jets take a 1-point lead, 28 to Carina League's Tigers 27.
And so win the second quarter by 1.
Correct. So they obviously take the bonus point there with the 2 points. So far, obviously, drawn quarter, so both teams take 1 point each, and then the Ipswich Jets take 2 points. So we'll take a halftime break here at the State Netball Centre of round 8 of the Sapphire Series. You can join us a little bit later on.
So welcome back to the second half of the HART Sapphire series. We see the Ipswich Jets versus the Carina League's Tigers. Dommy, talk us through what happened in the first half
Simi,
as the lead of this show.
Simi, you can have this show, mate. You just cut in my intro. No. So, yeah, obviously Jets take a 1 point lead over the Tigers going into the third quarter. As we look down the court, there doesn't seem to be any changes by both teams. Walker taking an early tumble there.
Just having a little rest.
Just having a little rest.
Didn't get enough time on the bench during the half-time break.
That's a good passage of play to start off with from the Jets, and obviously Tigers looking to do the same. Much better movement and better conversion there, or well, execution, sorry. Both teams look refreshed, Simi.
Yeah, obviously given, quite direct instructions by their coaches. I think what we didn't see in that first half, which each team is eligible for, is a tactical timeout.
Yep. I nearly forgot about those things.
Yeah, so we may see it, as this game progresses. However, there were some moments there for both teams in that first half where, it was a little bit sketchy at times. But to both teams' credit, they fought their, ways out of that, and the Jets were probably able to do it better at the end of that second quarter, and particularly to take that very slim 1-goal lead.
Yeah, and does it come into, do you think, more the captain's role, or it's definitely the coach's role to call when they want a timeout, do you think, Sim?
Yeah, look, I think both teams would have probably have some rules
process
around it.
Yeah.
But I think, generally both captain and coach have an opportunity to do that, to signal to each other that they think one is required.
And it's obviously very different. Obviously, you can have the perspective of the coach, and I'll have this perspective of the player. Yeah. Even though obviously you were probably a better player than myself, but on court's definitely a different experience or different feeling than sometimes what the coaches sees.
Yeah, definitely.
So when a on-court player feels like it's getting a little bit scrappy or a little bit off balance or anything like that, sometimes it's obviously the player's role to signal to the coach they want a timeout, and then if the coach deems that it's the correct decision, then they can obviously signal to the player yes. So I've been in a couple of teams that the coach used to signal to myself or another player that they wanted a timeout. Might have been a secret handshake, secret something. We spoke about obviously a particular coach in the break, being Danielle Edwards. She used to pull her earlobe. I always remember as a 15-year-old, when the earlobe was pulled, it was definitely time to call time. Yeah. I think you used to do something similar when I was under your reign at Lynx. Did I? You used to tap someone on the knee, or I swear that was Lynx days.
I don't know. It seems so long ago. I can't even remember.
You don't
what
want to
happened
sound
yesterday.
crazy, do you?
Yeah, look, I think from a coach's perspective, the difference with the HART Sapphire this year is that they have the opportunity to do rolling subs.
Yep.
And so, like we saw what Tracy Jeans-Fraser did earlier on in this game when she changed that shooting line, I think that probably got the same effect that a tactical timeout would have. So, great drive there by...
I'm doing air claps to Lucy Benjamin there.
Lucy Benjamin. She put the Jets on and she drove hard.
Oh, well
the
done,
Jets
Timmy.
on. Oh, I didn't even mean that.
Oh, yes, you did. Whatever. You've been thinking about that the whole game.
I've been trying to call that all for us all the time.
All right, we'll go back to the game. So, obviously, the Tigers looking for that shot. Great shot there by Baker. So, the Jets still taking 1 point lead in this third quarter of the Round 8 Sapphire Series down at the State Netball Centre. Katie Walker once again on the floor.
She's not happy with the call. She hits the ball away, but goes and regathers it. So frustrated at the call, but not at the player. Lovely to see that tap on Steph O'Brien there to assure her ankle was not directed towards her. goodness me, I thought that was something there, but
yeah.
the netball gods called it themselves. It was that error.
Are you trying to be an umpire now, Simi, as well?
No, I just thought it was maybe a replay or a step, but it was an error. It was a something, something that was worth something. But anyway, that's why I don't wear the white.
That's it. You're wearing the stripe, though.
Well done there by the Jets. Lucy Benjamin.
Well,
unlucky there not to get the rebound, not to get the offensive penalty there by promoting that ball to the
hand, yeah,
to the defender's hands.
Oh, well done.
Oh, Charlie Bell.
That was a knockdown by Charlie.
It's a better settle there by Charlie Bell. Ooh, over pumps the shot a little bit, but Gomez called out of play.
Takes a big breath in, gets the oxygen through the lungs. Takes that shot again. Over pumps that pass, unfortunately. Bit of a rush of blood by all players so far. So both teams came out on court really well and dominant and quick play and everything like that. And we've just had a lapse of concentration by both teams. So hopefully they can settle in again.
I think we talked about Sherlaw and Woolnough earlier on in the game. Obviously, injury to the Jets' back line, but they've done a great job. I think they've just...
Oh, well done,
unfortunately, there by Claire Haig. They've been able to hassle and disrupt, and it really has put Tigers' front line off, given the experience. Both Baker and Somerville as part of the Queensland Fusion this year. More credit to the defensive work that Sherlaw and Warner are applying. So we see our first tactical game. Who called it?
I think it was the Tigers, and I think it was Katie Walker. I didn't see any head nod or
no pull of the earlobe.
Oh, Danielle, if you're hearing, I'm sorry.
Fortunately, I was with Danielle Edwards this morning,
I've told all of Queensland your little secret. So obviously Tracy...
She'll be really happy with you because she's coaching the under-18 Wildcats team that will participate in the state titles later on in September. So you've just given her tactic away, Dom.
I have, unfortunately. Sorry, Dan. Don't come and hit me over the head or hit my ear. Steal my earlobe.
Cut your earlobes off. So we see that the Jets may be making a change here in the centre court with Hams going into centre and O'Brien swinging over to wing attack.
Yeah, it's a very different lineup or team. So obviously Tracy Jeans-Fraser up and about and talking to her team, where obviously Tracy Bruce is sitting nice and comfortable on the bench, where Katie Walker and Claire Haig is really those experienced players talking to their players and trying to figure out how they can get back into this game, because they're definitely not out of it.
No, but I think from their perspective, the right thing to do, right time to call. Katie obviously felt that things weren't happening the way that they wanted or intended. So, and Tracy Bruce, great show of faith in her senior players there to let them kind of conduct that timeout.
Yeah. Great pass there by Hams over the mess.
Yes. Great. Would have liked Benjamin to look into Bell then. Tall to tall, really hard to stop.
Oh, well done by Steph O'Brien. Rush of blood there.
Yeah, just needed to balance.
Oh, and another rush of blood.
Everyone's a little bit erratic at the moment.
Ooh, I'll take the breath for everyone.
Great stop there by Leah Warno. She got off and around Saville and made Trista think about what she needs to do.
Is this a defining moment for Tigers?
This could be. It certainly would be what they wanted from that timeout.
Australia is doing the best they can and trying to obviously deny the opportunity to the Tigers' front end.
Both teams are a little bit rushed, but this is probably a little bit more settled play from the Tigers.
Yeah.
But they need to convert, though, to make the most of this opportunity.
And that was the experience of Katie Walker. Just to go back to, I believe it was Leah Middleton in the defensive end and take the time to really know or have those 3 options to the ball, and they convert that goal. So obviously just down by 2. Katie Walker's trying to encourage her teams to get another conversion here, and they do so in Amy Somerville.
Yeah, Amy Somerville shooting the lights out at the moment. 4 from 80%, but Bell takes the ball really strongly there. It's a bit.
I thought we were doing a bit of a DJ set with the mic here.
It's going.
New passion of mine, taking after my husband and DJing. Shout out to him.
You can add that to the next game, Dom.
He won't be listening. He's playing footy, so I can pay him out.
The Tigers able to claw back within 1 goal. Still plenty of time in this 3rd quarter for both teams, really, to assert their dominance. Ooh.
Oh.
Wow.
That was a bit of a scrappy
very
play,
scrappy there.
Gomez comes up with the goodies.
At times I'd like to see Bell just settle on that, and times she's been rushed in her on her take for no reason. Just put pressure on herself but also the team.
Yeah.
Better there on her take and shot. Obviously quite young, played bottom age Queensland 19s this year and was TID'd into the Australian squad. Great future, so great to see her out on the Sapphire court. So the Tigers almost having to pass double.
Yeah, around the circle, and
which is a great show of patience, but certainly will be tiring as the game
tiring
continues.
for the goal attack, goal shooter, as well as obviously the mid-courts as well. That's a better shot there by Lexi.
Yeah, loving that Lexi's still willing to turn and go to the post.
Just looking at some of the stats, Simi, it's quite even across all stats. So centre pass conversion, the Jets are at 80%, and Tigers are at 80% as also. And obviously turnover gain conversion rate is 80% for the Jets once again, and 67% for the Tigers. So that's where they lose those points, unfortunately. So can you explain what turnover gain conversion rate is, Sim, since you threw me under the bus before? Back at you, mate.
I thought you would know, Johnny, what that was, being an ex-goal attack. The turnover gain conversion is the ball that the Tigers are able to win back, whether they're able to convert it. So usually, we would expect that they're able to convert the majority of centre passes. So here is an example of the Tigers winning the ball back. So if they are able to convert it, then it will go to their goals.
And great examples as well, Sim. I'm really impressed with you today.
It's going to be a long night.
It's going to be a long night. We have 2 more games to go.
So that would be a positive turnover conversion, Dom.
Yes, very positive there. And as we've been talking a bit of smack, Tigers have gone to even with the Jets here at the State Netball Centre. The Tigers are actually winning this quarter by 1, so obviously looking forward to that bonus point as well.
So 3 minutes to go. Oh, so now they've turned it over. So hopefully the Jets can convert this turnover.
Well done, Sam. Just lessons on lessons on lessons. I'm learning so much. Ooh,
very lucky there. I thought it was going to be quarter hell ball, but
Sim, you're not an umpire.
I know I wasn't, but I didn't say I think it should have. I said
yes,
I thought it was going to be from my very non-expert umpire.
In the back of Steph O'Brien. That'll fire Katie Walker up as well as Steph.
I think Lucy Benjamin's doing a good job in just playing in that front space and allowing Charlie to have that back space. I think a few times in the earlier rounds, Lucy was wanting to run to that familiar back space that she's so used to when she's back there at goal shooter, but she's doing a great job at working that front to allow to open Bell up in the back.
Yeah, and it's getting a little bit heated out on court. A few more contacts and they're trying to obviously run through the ball, the line of the ball, and unfortunately getting a bit of the body, but more for a bit of push and shove, as we saw obviously against the Firebirds and the Giants last weekend, with Gretel Tippett's nose coming in contact with obviously Christiana Manua's elbow. So netball's definitely not a non-contact sport.
Yeah, look, I think we've seen, most of the challenges being at the line of the ball.
Yeah,
we don't like to see things happening deliberately.
Great shot there by Sentinel.
I think, the desperation and the the fight shown by both teams shows how much this game means to them.
And we can, if we picked up the ladder of obviously where both teams are positioned, a couple of bonus points here and there, and then obviously a win would definitely push their chances up the ladder as well.
Yeah, so not just a win doesn't necessarily guarantee or help cement your ladder position. It's the bonus points for each quarter is important, and I think that rewards those teams that are consistent.
And we see obviously the Brisbane North Cougars topping the ladder, and I believe they've got the most bonus points. So you see that correlates between the two. Better position on the ladder is obviously better rate of having that bonus point won. Yeah. Great effort there by Claire Haig.
So we're potentially looking at the Carina Leagues Club will more than likely, I'm not going to say will more than likely win this quarter.
Say it.
With 21 seconds to go, and they're one ahead.
Oh, I was just about to say.
Brookham's unlucky to get a touch there.
9 seconds to go. Katie Walker will take her time here, knowing there's a couple of seconds. Oh, unfortunately can't convert there, but once again, we go into the fourth quarter, all drawn up at 42 all, and Carina Leagues Tigers taking the bonus point in that quarter there.
Yeah, wow. It sets up a great fourth quarter with
very exciting.
A drawn first quarter. The Jets took the lollies in the second quarter. The Tigers have taken it back in the third, so who knows what's going to happen. My understanding from this game is a draw will count. We don't go into extra time.
Yes, I believe so. I think it's only in the finals that we go into extra time, obviously. So I believe if both teams are drawn at the end of the game, they get 5 points each, instead of obviously the whole 10 if they do get a win. So we'll take a break here at the State Netball Centre, and we'll come back to you. Welcome back to round 8 of the Sapphire Series here at the Queensland State Netball Centre between the Ipswich Jets and the Carina League's Tigers. Joining me, obviously, is Maroon Nalatu. Simi, welcome back to the fourth quarter, going in at 42 all.
I know, really tight. Anyone's game, absolutely. Look, I think this quarter is going to be the team that makes the most of their opportunities.
Just like that one?
Just like that one.
Gomez is on the floor. Katie Walker steals the ball, and we're off to a flying start here. I feel like I'm calling the horses or something like that.
And they're
Not
off
that
to
I
the
bet or
races.
anything like that. I don't understand horses. And great shot there by Amy Somerville. So obviously that's a turnover conversion there.
Positive
right
turnover
there.
conversion. Yeah, the Jets unable to score off their centre pass.
This game's really lifted up a couple of notches in intensity for both teams compared to obviously the first quarter to now what we're watching here. So like you said before, this game means a lot to both teams. Both teams are obviously inside the top 4, but great there, intercept by Leah Middleton. But as we were talking about, a bonus point, couple of bonus points, a win definitely helps your cause in obviously keeping that position in the top 4. So
Yeah, really important. Obviously, with the Tigers sitting in 4th, they don't want to kind of be knocked out of that top 4 position today or at all, really. So they, big game for them. But the Jets, on the other hand, they, not far off the Cougars and from a points perspective. So would also like to take this game out.
We're just getting a few beverages up here.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Kombucha. Is he trying to say something to us? Are we on a health kick?
Great touch there by the Jets.
Well
and equally.
done, Amy Somerville.
Yeah.
More for a goal shooter getting a turnover. And great drive there. And a great pass.
Everything was great about that.
Everything. Absolutely everything. And she's obviously got the Mizuno shoes on as well. One of our key sponsors for the Sapphire Series.
So the Tigers doing a really good job to stop that first phase, so that first pass off the centre pass there for the Jets, which has unnerved them a little bit because they certainly had, much better, able to get that first ball away really easily in those first 3 quarters. So I think that in itself has put the Jets under pressure.
And it's got a bit louder in the State Netball Centre here. Here are a few more cheers and Tiger growls as well. So obviously both Tigers and the Jets have their support crew in the crowd cheering them on, and really it's like an extra player on court. Well done to Hock there.
Yeah, great benefit of Hock in that she is a tall centre court player.
And we've had a swap in that wing attack. Baker's on for Hams.
So you called that earlier in the game, Dommy, in terms of Baker back on, but you were suggesting that she put in the goal.
I said it like earlier, as in
she was
couple
on
of minutes ago.
Oh, great roll there by Charlie Bell.
Got something wrong with my memory. But yeah, I did call it, didn't I? So does that mean I'm a coach now as well?
Oh, you can be a coach anytime you want.
No. I don't know how you guys do it.
It is definitely harder, I will say that. It's easier to play.
Yeah.
Probably why Katie Walker hasn't retired.
Probably.
She learnt that lesson earlier than I did.
She'll still be rolling around in a wheelchair. Still looking as good as ever with her biceps and everything like that.
Tigers working really hard here, but willing to do the hard work to give themselves that sure opportunity. When you've got Amy Somerville at the back, why not?
Yes, shooting 100% for this quarter. Should be up nice and high percentage-wise for the whole game, I would imagine. And Baker being injected back into this game is a fresh set of legs as well, in an important role in wing attack as well.
Yeah, I think it was a good little change up again.
I don't think I've seen much of Baker in the wing attack role for the Jets. So looking forward to seeing how she connects with her shooters.
Amy's just someone again on shot and ever reliable, putting it through the hoops for the Tigers. Breaking call there, looks like by the Tigers. Jets are much more effective when they are able to let the ball go quickly. When they have to stop, it doesn't always play into their favour.
Fortunate pair. On
Yeah,
Gomez, just a bit of a soft ball. I like to see that just being let go.
Just being smashed, just let go.
No, as in an advantage.
Great touch there by Sherlaw. She's having a cracker today.
Don't talk over me, Sam. How dare you? Oh, a replay or something.
That was a something, but anyway,
it
was a shot.
That was a great shot. That was a great shot. Good work there by Bell to obviously put out the noise of a replay or something to just really get in her zone and put up the ball, and here she goes again, and once again converts.
So the Jets have had their little comeback, so see now what the Tigers will do. I think it's going to go down to the wide.
Yeah, I
think
think
teams
so
really
too.
push out. I think when we saw the Tigers up by 4 at one stage was probably the biggest gap or margin that we'd seen.
Yeah, and both teams obviously have to treasure these balls, passing into their shooters mid-court. So, I thought that was on a drop-in for Amy Somerville there.
Thought about it.
Yeah, so yeah, just really treasuring the possession of the ball from both teams with the game being so close.
I think the turnover conversions reflect that it's not as much ball. I mean, yes, we're still quite early. Great jump there by Leah Middleton.
Well done, Leah Middleton. Gets a block on Lucy Benjamin's shot. Lucy was a little bit starstruck there. Was unable to lift her draw up and get on with the game.
It's great timing on the jump there.
Yeah. And as a defender, I would imagine that getting a block on a shooter's shot feels like they've won the game pretty much. That was a good contest by Sherlaw there. Came out nice and hard with 2 hands to the ball. Unfortunate to get the call against herself.
But it's putting lots of pressure on Amy Somerville, who really is go-to shooter for this Tigers line.
Yeah.
As that one drops in for her.
So once again, all tied up at 49 all. Fourth quarter, 7 minutes to go. Between the Carina League's Tigers, and once again, Leah has other ideas of getting in the way of obviously the Jets' ball.
Yeah, look, I think Baker's done a good job, but just starting to drop back a little bit into that goal attack position. Probably needs to stay a bit higher and link with Steph O'Brien, who's being asked to kind of connect a longer ball there to her.
Yeah, and really your centre in the transition play is really just your link in your long court. So really they don't need to do a whole heap. They just trail and link in if they need. So it's really the wing defence and goal defence's main role in getting the ball down the court there.
Yeah. And definitely with the 2 talls, and Lucy's obviously run out at goal attack, but given that she'll be coming into the 3rd full quarter that she's done it, just need to take a little bit of pressure off her legs by making sure that they're doing the work to the circle and being patient on the feed. Great rebound there by Sherlaw. So the Jets get an opportunity here to convert this, which was from their centre pass, I believe. This one here. Oh, Chanel Gomez, she has been threatening all afternoon. Yep. I was wrong. It was the Jets' turnover. So they just converted their turnover, Dom.
Turnover gain there. Great drive there by Steph O'Brien. Oh, just nice and balanced. Opened up her hips and was able to connect. And great shot there by Lucy Benjamin. Nice and confident. Walk back to the centre. Oh, and
offensive power.
Contact on Schuster there, unfortunate. So once again, obviously, Jets will look to turnover gain there. Gomez.
It's a great pick up there, but I think Lucy only had highs for Steph on that one. And Steph's doing a lot of running, doing a lot of miles, so lucky to get that turnover there. Well, takes the pressure off the Jets, I think, but I think some of their other players need to step up and not ask O'Brien to do more than what she already is doing.
Yeah. And both teams just overcooking the passes, unfortunately. For both teams, they're doing the hard yards and obviously turning over the ball, and then their passes are just not getting to the spots they want them to.
It'll be these little moments that are going to determine the outcome of this game. I was going to say the winner, but given that we've drawn the majority of this game, it might be the outcome might be more an appropriate.
Great footwork there by Sherlaw.
Sherlaw's doing a great job. She's having a cracker.
Yeah.
And great rebound either. She did everything right there. She hustled. She got herself into rebound position, and then she rebounded.
Yeah. She's done
so
everything.
some of these, Charlie Bell needed to turn there and look into her. Benjamin with her Jets on again.
And Charlie Bell converts that.
Big play there by Sherlaw, and her goal was reward her with the goal. So the Jets take their lead out to 2, but still.
Still with 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes is a long time for both teams. So obviously Jets need to treasure the ball, and Tigers need to work hard to turn over the ball. So it's a bit loud up here.
Got some the Jets Ruby team behind us, but I think, like you said before, the crowd has really come into this game. I think they understand that neither team is going to give an inch, and that it's going to go down to the wire.
Katie Walker encouraging her defensive team to maybe do a turnover here. So
yeah, I think when the Tigers defenders keep themselves in play, it's much harder for the Jets to convert. But when they great,
well done, Gomez. Unfortunately,
unlucky on the call there. But when they take themselves out of play,
that's a air ball by Lucy Benjamin.
It's an air ball. It's getting lots of whistle here, which is just making that.
Yeah, they just need to stay in play, but
stay in play and
still
stay disciplined. Yeah.
Ball, fine line between the two.
It is, but Gomez and Middleton are very experienced, so they should understand what that line is.
Yeah, when they can have a crack and when they should just let it go. Oh, well done to Steph O'Brien there. Once again, doing everything.
Steph O'Brien and Sherlaw are doing everything they can to keep their team in this game.
Katie Walker quickly getting out of play because she knows there's only a minute and a half to go. They can't delay the ball any longer.
Oh, goodness. Miscommunication there by Bell and Benjamin.
Are you going to call that a pass, or are you going to call it an air shot?
Well, the fact that it's...
I think it was a pass.
Yeah, I think it was a pass. I hope for Benjamin's sake it was. It was a good pass. It just didn't have eye contact with Bell, who had no idea.
She was...
and Steph O'Brien again.
I was about to say. Yeah, once again, obviously, Lucy should have just shot that ball. Charlie Bell just was having eyes up for the posts and the rebounds. Here's that near intercept by Steph O'Brien. So with 50 seconds to go.
The Jets in possession, so all they really need to do is keep possession and score, but the Tigers will want nothing of that.
Yeah, and the Jets are leading this quarter 12-10, so obviously looking for that bonus point as well as this win here. Charlie Bell was on just just under the post there, but unfortunate Baker couldn't get eyes to her. So Jets with 3 goals up, 16 seconds to go. See what Tigers can do here. Trelaw still having a crack at it, even though she would think that her team has secured the win. Really good to see that, she's having a crack at everything. Amy Somerville will have the last say in the game with a shot. So the Ipswich Jets take away the goodies there, 55 to the Carina League's Tigers 53. And obviously that bonus point to the Ipswich Jets as well, 13 to 11 for that quarter. So congratulations to both teams, but in particular the Jets.
Yeah, a great game by both teams. Absolutely, the scores indicated that both at the end here with only a 2-point difference, but also through the quarters where we saw quarters drawn or 1 by 1 by each of the teams. Both had their opportunities, and I think in the end the Tigers were the Jets were the ones that were able to make the most of those opportunities. Yeah, definitely.
No, it was nice and close, which is good to see. You always want a close game, and both teams obviously took it to each other, and obviously the Jets were the prevailers in that game. So we look to obviously the next game in the University of Sunshine Coast Thunder versus the Bond University Bull Sharks.
We see the clash of the coast, the sunny coast and the Gold Coast.
And the clash of the 2 universities as well. So the Bond University and USC. So stay with us. Well, not stay with us now, but come back at 5:30 for that game there. So we'll leave you. Thank you for joining me, Sim. I look forward to obviously joining you again in a couple of minutes' time.
Likewise.